So the game I'm playing today is called Baraduke. This is a run-and-gun game released by Namco in arcades back in 1985. This game in particular doesn't really have that much of a plot, but the only thing you really need to know is that you play as an astronaut named Kissy. I have no idea why they're called that either. And your objective is to infiltrate an alien base, which I think is called Baraduke. And you are fighting through 8 separate worlds that contain 6 levels each, so the game has a total of about 48 levels. And at the very end of the game, you have to destroy the leader of Baraduke, who is known as the Octy King. And the reason they're called that is because the legion of aliens that they command are called Octies, I'm pretty sure. And I mean, that's pretty much the only narrative element that this game really has. But as with some of the other more obscure Namco titles that I've been covering on the channel recently, there are some very specific reasons why I chose to play this today. The first reason is that I just really wanted to cover another really obscure arcade game today, but the other reason is that, in some ways, I almost feel like this game is kind of like a spiritual ancestor to Metroid, not just in the game's themes or its overall level design or enemy design even, but it has more so to do with the main character themselves. And the third reason is that this game actually has some really bizarre narrative ties to some of Namco's other franchises, specifically Dig Dug and even Mr. Driller, weirdly enough. But I'm gonna explain all of that once we get into the actual game. Now, this game was re-released on some of Namco's compilation games, including Namco Museum Volume 5 for the PlayStation 1, and it was also featured in Namco Museum Virtual Arcade for the Xbox 360. So, basically the same compilations that Metrocross was also featured in. If you live in North America, though, you probably know this game better as Alien Sector. For some reason, the game was renamed to that when it came out in North America. I'm not entirely sure why. If I'm not mistaken, I think the game's distribution in North America was handled by Midway, much like with a lot of Namco's other arcade games, including Pac-Man. But when Midway brought the game to North America, they renamed it to Alien Sector. I have no idea why. I don't know if that was maybe due to like a trademark dispute or something. I really don't know. But I wanted to mention that because this game does technically have 2 different names, but the original Japanese title of the game is Baraduke. Or Baraduke, I don't really know how it's even pronounced, honestly, but it's not like it really matters. You guys probably just want to see some actual gameplay now, and by God, I am going to supply you with it. But first of all, I just want to show you that I did enable some dip switches. I set the lives counter to 5. This game does apparently have another round select mode, kind of like Metrocross. I'm probably not going to use that though, because there's also this dip switch right here that allows you to continue from the last level. So I'll probably just be using that for most of the game if I do end up losing all of my lives. I mean, I'm not going to be playing through the entire game just for the record, because again, that would just take way too long. Alright, well, with that being said, let's just get started here. Continue from floor 19. Yeah, I was playing this a little bit off screen here, but we are gonna go to the first game option here, because I do want to restart this from the beginning. So, the way that this game is structured... Oh yeah, by the way. Yes, he is your friend, indeed. So, I'm gonna explain what that little alien creature is in just a little bit. Okay, so, what exactly is going on here? Well, if you're using... Okay, I need to get away from this guy, actually. So, if you are playing this on MAME like I am, you use the control key in order to fire your, giant-ass bazooka right here. There's also this little bonus game that you play at the end of each level. You get the opportunity to get an additional shield, because, Kissy does not die in one hit in this game, and you can actually get additional power for your shield so that she can take more hits. And that's actually what these, little orange aliens are useful for. So those little orange aliens that tell you that they're your friend, they are known as packets. And packets are useful because they actually supply you with additional chances to get an additional shield. So basically at the end of each level, there's a little bonus game that you play, and depending on how many packets you have, you actually have a much higher chance of getting an additional shield. So you have to stop it at a very specific point. It is also possible to get no shield at all. It's also possible to lose your shield as well, if it lands on, one of those, like, ghost-like creatures. That's kind of what they look like to me. Yeah, I have to avoid these, purple bullets that these guys are firing here. Yeah, so you'll notice that there's a lot of crap happening on the screen, all at once, and there's a lot of, like, different enemies here as well. So, the objective of all of these levels is that you actually have to kill every single enemy within the level, otherwise you cannot progress. There's a little pipe at the end of each level that you have to enter in order to make it to the next floor. However, that pipe does not open until you kill all of the enemies. So you get a little notification here that says gate open, and then you can go through the pipe right here. And you need to hurry up because there's actually more enemies that are going to spawn in if you take too long to get into the gate once it is open. So there's 6 levels in each world here, and every 6th level you fight a giant boss. Now, the only unfortunate thing about the bosses is that there's not that much variety in their design. So in the first world, you essentially fight a giant worm. Also, there's enemies that are trying to, like, fall on top of my head right now. What in the world is happening? Yeah, so, oh, by the way, what in the world is that? Okay, I did not see that enemy off screen before. What in the world was that? Holy crap, man. Oh god, hang on a second. So at the end of each world, I'm gonna try and do this without getting too distracted here, because it seems like the game is trying extremely hard to do exactly that right now. So, at the end of each world, you fight a giant boss, right? Unfortunately, there's not that much variety in the design of the bosses. At the end of World 1, you fight a giant worm. At the end of World 2, you fight a giant eyeball that just kind of, like, moves around all over the place and kind of just, like, turns constantly. And then in World 3, you fight the exact same boss. And then in World 4, you fight the giant eyeball again, and basically this repeats right up until World 8, where you finally fight the Octy King. By the way, I actually got an upgrade for my gun right here, which fires even more powerful bullets that do more damage. I do believe that can sometimes, I think that actually just drops randomly from either those little, these little, like, power-ups right here that you can grab, but other times, I think the enemies can also drop them too. Okay, I swear to god if this lands on... Okay, no. It didn't land on the nothing. We did get an additional shield. At least I think I did. Okay, yeah, so this is the giant worm right here. So the giant worm also has a lot of eyeballs. Wow, he's already dead? Dude, everything is happening so quickly in this game right now that it's actually, like, causing my synapses to get tangled up and just get completely destroyed in the process. Holy crap, man. I'm trying my best here, guys, but this is a really fast-paced game. I mean, this is a run-and-gun game, so I mean, it's pretty fast, man. It's fast-paced. Keeps you on your toes. Yeah, you have a jetpack here, by the way, so you can actually just float upwards, and I do believe your jetpack has, like, infinite power, so yeah, you don't have to worry about losing power in your jetpack anytime soon. So yeah, this is a stage where there's bullets that just manifest out of thin air to attack you, which is great. That's totally fair. I don't even remember what I was talking about already. I got, like, so distracted from, like, killing that boss within just 5 seconds, which I think I was only able to do because of my my upgraded gun right here. But oh my goodness, dude, there's guys that are trying to, like, hit me from the bottom, or from, like, the top of the level right here. What is going on? Why are there so many of them? Hello? How y'all doing? Coming in for a party. A greeting party. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, what is this? Oh, that's just a packet. You know what, I'm just gonna leave. Okay, apparently the hitboxes just disappear entirely when you're going through the gate, apparently. Don't take away my shield. Oh, okay. Well, fine then, we can just do this with 2. That's totally okay. Okay, so the point that I was trying to make before I got, like, completely distracted, is that the bosses in this game are very repetitive. Because the way that the bosses work in this game is that on all of the odd-numbered worlds, you fight a giant worm creature. On all of the even-numbered worlds, except for the final world, which is World 8, you fight a giant eyeball. And those are, like, the only bosses that you fight in the entire game. There's only 3 different bosses, and you only ever fight the Octy King at the very end of the game. So that's what I was trying to say before, like, there's not a great deal of variety in the game's bosses. I do feel like they kind of just dropped the ball entirely with that one in particular. Or like that aspect of the game's design. Okay, well I just got completely annihilated. Okay, something that's also very weird about this game is that as soon as you die, you actually respawn at the exact location where you died. And that also applies to the bosses. So what's really weird about fighting the bosses in this game as well, is that if you do end up dying to a boss, you actually just resume the fight from where you last left off. The boss's health meter, or like the boss's hit points, I guess, they don't actually reset. So if the boss only has like 1 health remaining, and you end up getting killed by it, when you respawn, the boss will still only have 1 health remaining. So I don't know if that's a bug, or if that's just how the game was designed, but yeah, that's very weird, man. I've never played a game like that, where, it actually saves your progress in between deaths? I don't know, that seems a little bit strange to me. That doesn't necessarily mean the bosses are easy, though, because, I mean, they're constantly firing like a barrage of bullets at you. Yeah, this is also a weird level as well, where it's, there's a lot of, like, open space here. Yeah, so these, yeah, so sometimes the power-ups, or like those little capsules that can sometimes drop upgrades, yeah, other times they can actually drop more enemies, which is, I'm not entirely sure if that's cheap or not, but like, yeah, you can still pretty easily avoid those enemies, though, if you just fly upwards. These little red enemies that look like giant brains, I believe those guys are actually indestructible, so you need to avoid them at all costs. Why are there just more that keep spawning in? What is going on right now? Holy crap, dude. I don't know what that yellow thing is over there. I did see that when I was playing the game off screen, but I don't actually know what that is. I'm just gonna go in here. Screw all of you. I'm just leaving. My god, what is even going on right now? Yeah, we're already on the 10th floor here, but like I said, I think there's 48 floors in this game in total. So, yeah, I mean, other than that though, guys, that's pretty much the entire gameplay right here. There's also not that much variety in the sort of weapon types as well. As a matter of fact, this is the only weapon that you ever use in the game, I'm pretty sure. Oh, gee, okay. What kind of cheap garbage is that? It's like it respawned directly above me while I was just trying to walk away. Okay, there's this other enemy right here that kind of looks like an evil version of you, and he fires a lot of bullets, and the bullets are super fast for some reason. Yeah, those guys are definitely, pretty tricky to deal with, because, I mean, they fire so many damn bullets. Okay, well, yeah, sometimes I don't exactly know how fair this game is, because, I mean, these guys just fire so many damn bullets all at once. Okay, so what's in here? Okay, yeah, so those are just, like, sometimes the capsules will drop those little yellow gems, which basically are like, they just give you more points. I don't think they really do anything special beyond that. Yeah, these guys will just continuously spawn enemies, and it's like there's no limit as to how many they can spawn. Also, there's this stupid bird-like enemy that sometimes appears on occasion, just from the side of the screen, and he tries to fly into you. I don't know what exactly his purpose is in the world, but he's very annoying to deal with, because he just appears randomly. And yeah, he basically takes away like one of your shields, or like 1 point off your shield. Okay, well, hang on a second, we're gonna try and get back into that there. Yeah, so thankfully I enabled that dip switch that allows us to just continue from floor 10. There we go. Yeah, so we're gonna try and do this here. What I am gonna try and do for this video is that I'm just gonna try and complete the first 3 worlds. And then I think after that, yeah, we're gonna be done with the video. Oh my god, Blue Boy is back. Mr. Blue Boy is back up there. Okay, I'm just gonna try and avoid him. Oh my god, that took away my entire shield. Yeah, so if you do somehow manage to get, like, additional shields, every time you die, it does take away, like, 1 point off your shield. Because I think you can actually accumulate quite a bit of shield points if you have a lot of packets. Like, having a lot of packets basically increases, your luck during the little bonus games that you can play. If you end up landing on a packet tile, then what that does is that it will actually give you a shield. And then if it lands on a ghost tile, it just removes your shield. But I don't think... I think the minimum amount of shields that you can have is 2. I don't believe it can remove your shield again if you already have only 2. At least I don't believe it can. Oh my god, can I have, like, a packet, please? Yeah, these are just completely random, I think. They just drop random stuff. Oh my god, can I just... Okay, somehow that guy didn't hit me. There we go. Shield bonus. I do find it interesting because, like, all of the levels right before the bosses, it's kind of like a cooldown level. To try and, like, give you more packets, I guess, before you fight the actual boss. I guess because the game really wants you to try and, like, get enough shields, or, like, the game wants to give you an actual chance to get more shields, so that you can, handle the bosses a little bit better, or you have a little bit of an easier time dealing with the bosses. You can also use the packets to attack the bosses as well, by the way. You can literally throw packets at the bosses. You can, like, sacrifice them, essentially. Okay, well, which is admittedly a little gruesome and sadistic, but I mean, that is something you can do. Okay, so I guess the health of the bosses does reset if you do end up losing all your lives, so I guess there is that. Okay, dude. Oh yeah, the birds can also appear during the bosses. This is some cheap bullshit if I've ever seen it myself. And I've seen a lot of cheap bullshit in some of these games. Not all of them, for the record, not all the ones I played, but, like, good god, man. Okay, yeah, this guy's just launching, like, magical waves at us. Magical shock waves. But he is dead, though. He is dead. Okay, so let's just get the frick out of here, then. But you might have noticed that after I died to him once, and I respawned, his health did not actually reset. So... yeah, again, just some very weird boss design here. Oh my god, can you... Dude, how is that fair? How exactly is it fair that I'm trying to get away from one enemy, and it just, like, respawns directly in my face? Give me this packet. No, you're not flying away from me. There we go. Oh my god, he's back. Okay, he spawned down over there to a point where he can't get to me. Okay, never mind. He just appeared directly in front of me again. God, it is a little bit jarring, admittedly, just so that... oh my god. Of course, I just end up forgetting that he was even there. I will admit that it is a little... what did I get shot by? I wasn't even paying attention. This game is giving me brain damage in real time, I feel. Okay, this guy's actually turned around for whatever reason. He's just, like, looking at a wall. Okay, but... god, I legit do not remember what I was even gonna talk about. I guess something else that I could mention here is that your gun does have knockback on it. You'll notice that whenever you fire, you do actually, move away. Or like, pushes you back just a little bit. There's also these jellyfish creatures right here, which will try to ram into you, in some of the levels at least. And, yeah, they're indestructible from the front, so you have to try, I think you have to try and shoot them from the back, I'm pretty sure. I think they can be shot from the back. Give me the packet, please. At least the packets are cute. I do like the packet designs. Oh my god. Go down in here, just so that I will be able to, stop here again, or I'll be able to continue from here if I do end up getting killed now. There we go, I got an additional shield point. Good. Okay, floor 14. Okay, so there's just a lot of enemies that are, like, floating in the air for some reason. Yeah, these are the guys that are launching these little, like, jellyfish creatures at me. I believe these are the Octies. I mean, they look more like jellyfish, so that's what I just like to call them. They're alien jellyfish. That's what they are, okay? I'm guessing the reason they're called Octies is because they're meant to be, like, octopi or octopuses, but I don't know about you, they just look more like jellyfish to me. Oh, by the way, I guess there is something else that I could also mention. Why am I starting from over here? Okay, I guess there's multiple spawning points in some of the levels as well. Because why am I starting on the left side all of a sudden? Okay, you know what? Just... you're not even looking at me. Okay, so what I was gonna mention is that you can accidentally kill the packets while they're flying around. You can actually shoot the packets, and they will die. So, try to avoid murdering them while you're trying to pick them up. Because you actually can do that. Yeah, so if you want to just treat the packets horribly in this game, I mean, you have the option to do so. You can literally lob them at enemies, you can just, like, shoot them outright as soon as they spawn. It's like... yeah, you just have no respect for any life forms whatsoever in this game, not even the friendly ones. What is this? That's... ooh, that... wait a second, where did the packet go? Okay, he was trying to, like, escape from me. Okay. I guess it's also worth noting that there are some enemies that don't actually need to be killed. even though I did say that you need to kill all of them, but you actually don't. There are certain enemies in some of the levels that you don't need to kill. You basically just have to kill the big blue ones, I think, and then you can leave after that. Because the blue aliens effectively act as enemy spawners, and you have to kill them, you have to kill the spawners, and then you get cheap-shotted just like that, apparently. But yeah, the giant blue aliens are essentially enemy spawners, so you have to kill them, and then you can just, like, move on to the next level after that. Yeah, this is a really tight corridor right here. And the fact that, like, enemies can still spawn from the giant, like, what were they called? What was I calling them before? Capsules? How did I get stuck here in the corner? Oh my god, dude, I hate this game. Wait. Oh, hang on a second. Wait, I got myself unstuck, and then I got killed. Wow, okay. Yeah, for once it actually wasn't my fault that I got killed by something. I got stuck in a corner, dude. How'd I get stuck in the corner? You get out of here. You know what? Oh my god, I just killed the packet accidentally. Okay, come on, man. Why are you really gonna give me enemies in a tight corridor spawning from stupid capsules? I can't crouch in this game, by the way. Oh, yeah. And to add insult to injury, there's also birds flying around. God. I don't know about this one, guys. I just don't know. Again, there's a super specific reason why I chose to play this. Okay, don't kill him this time. There we go. It's okay, you're safe with me. You're safe with me, buddy boy. Well, I mean, occasionally you're safe with me, unless I accidentally kill you or one of your friends. But yeah, there is like a very specific reason why I wanted to play this. And it does have to do with, like, the sort of Metroid-style vibes that I get from this game. Because that is actually, again, this does pertain to, Kissy herself, like, the character. So, the thing about Kissy is that she is a female character. And I mean, you can kind of tell just from the fact that she is called Kissy. I do kind of feel like that is a bit of a giveaway. But the interesting thing is that the game basically leads you to believe that Kissy is actually a male character, right up until the ending of the game where it is revealed that she is actually a woman. And the reason why I find that so interesting is because that's literally how the original Metroid ends. Also, that is an upgraded version of the blue soldier-like enemy that we saw before, and he's absolutely terrifying. I do remember seeing him in one of the levels, I think it was actually this one. But yeah, the reason why I find that fascinating is because you need to keep in mind that this game came out before Metroid. Baraduke was originally released in arcades an entire year before Metroid came out. So, effectively what that means is that Baraduke was doing the whole, space bounty hunter appears to be male but turns out to be female, trope, like, before Metroid started doing it. And I do find that particularly fascinating because it makes me wonder whether or not Nintendo might have taken inspiration from Baraduke when they were developing Metroid. I'm not entirely sure if they did take direct inspiration from Metroid, or if, like, the story of Metroid was inspired by Baraduke in some way, but I can definitely see it being inspired by Baraduke, if indirectly. So yeah, I just find that kind of interesting how essentially Namco was doing that whole trope before Nintendo did it. That's why I said earlier on in the video that I kind of feel like, in a way, Baraduke is kind of like the spiritual ancestor to Metroid, because the game ends in the exact same fashion as the original Metroid, except this game actually came out before Metroid. I know that under normal circumstances, people might see that as the game, or basically Namco ripping off Nintendo, but that's really not what's happening here, because this game is older than Metroid. So yeah, just an interesting little bit of trivia right there. Kissy is essentially Namco's version of Samus, except she's technically older than Samus. So there is that to consider for sure. And, I guess I could also talk about the weird narrative ties that this game has to Dig Dug and Mr. Driller now. Yeah, sure, let's talk about that now, because I honestly can't really think of anything else to say about this. God, could you stop giving me freaking enemies and give me, like, some actual freaking upgrades, please? What is this baloney crap? Oh, he's just gone. Can you stop giving me these, like, blue soldier enemy? Okay, you know what? Mr. Transformer up there, I'm just gonna ignore him. I'm gonna go past him. I don't even give a crap. Oh my god. How am I even supposed to dodge all these bullets? Well, I mean, I literally... Okay. Apparently he came back... Well, he got freaking obliterated. That's what you get, buddy boy. That's what you get. Okay, yeah, but Mr. Driller and Dig Dug and other comparisons to other games, or whatever the heck, or narrative ties to other games. So the weird thing about Kissy is that she is actually Mr. Driller's mother. She was married at one point to the protagonist of Dig Dug, and apparently they had 3 children together, one of whom was Mr. Driller. And in Mr. Driller, she's referred to as Toby, because that's apparently Kissy's real name, and Kissy is just like a nickname that she was given. And at some point, I guess the marriage turned incredibly sour, or their relationship just completely went down the shitter, and she ended up divorcing Dig Dug. So, yeah, I just find that really strange, because that almost seems to imply that Baraduke takes place in the same universe as Dig Dug and Mr. Driller. And the reason why I find that so strange is because this game is very different in terms of tone and themes to Dig Dug and Mr. Driller. Because if you never played Mr. Driller before, it's basically like a puzzle game that includes a lot of like very bright and cheerful colors. It's like a game where you're trying to like, drill down into... I'm not entirely sure what you're actually drilling down into, but you're drilling down into the ground, and you have to destroy a bunch of blocks, and you have to make sure that the blocks don't fall on top of you and crush you. But yeah, it was a very cheerful, very happy-go-lucky kind of game, and so is Dig Dug to some degree. Aside from the fact that you are literally pumping wild animals full of air and popping them like a goddamn balloon in that game. So, I mean, it's definitely a lot more disturbing than Mr. Driller, but even so, it still uses, like, a lot of bright and cheerful colors, and it's overall, like, a very upbeat sort of game. But this game is... I don't know, man, like, Baraduke is a fairly dark kind of game, because you have all of these, like, very grotesque enemy designs right here. You have all these little cute aliens that you can also just brutally murder as well. So, I mean... I just find it really strange how this game seemingly takes place in the Dig Dug universe. And Mr. Driller, it's also implied that Mr. Driller takes place in the same universe as Dig Dug as well. As a matter of fact, Mr. Driller was originally being developed as a Dig Dug game. It was originally going to be called Dig Dug 3, and it was basically intended to be like a spiritual successor to Dig Dug. Did I just fall through the damn floor? Or was I starting to fall through the floor there for a minute? Oh my god, dude. What is going on with this game? This game's just like breaking in front of me while I'm trying to explain things. This is absolutely absurd. But yeah, those were like the weird narrative ties between this game and Dig Dug and Mr. Driller, and some of Namco's other like IPs that I just wanted to explain here. Mostly just because I thought it was freaking weird. That's pretty much it. Okay, I guess this is like a fake floor or something, because I just keep falling through it, and I just ended up dying again, which is fantastic. That does great things for my sanity. Definitely. Yeah, you may have noticed, by the way, that we were actually fighting the exact same boss on floor 18. It was the giant worm creature with the multiple eyes again. Literally the same boss, by the way. Again, barely any variety in the boss types here. Yeah, so those are the weird ties that bind this game to some of Namco's other IPs. God, I just keep dying over and over again. I'm not even paying attention anymore. I mean, I feel like I wasn't ever paying attention to begin with, because there's too many things happening all at once. Really not a good kind of game to commentate over, because there's too many things happening all at a single time. But yeah, those were the weird narrative ties to Dig Dug that I wanted to talk about quickly. Kissy is Mr. Driller's mother, who is also, Dig Dug's wife. And it makes no sense whatsoever. Well, I guess Dig Dug's ex-wife, because they're no longer together, I guess. I mean, I don't know, man. Like, one of the things that I notice Namco loves to do with their games is that they love to hide references to some of their other arcade titles in their own games, and it kind of just makes me wonder, like, do all of Namco's games just exist in the same universe? Like, is there some sort of Namco cinematic universe that they're trying to create here? Or that they were always trying to create? Because that would also explain why there seems to be so many references to other classic Namco titles in a lot of Namco's arcade games. I mean, There were the Pac-Man billboards in Sky Kid, for instance. If you remember the video that I did on Sky Kid not too long ago, there were a bunch of billboards in, well, maybe not a bunch, but there were some billboards in some of the levels in that game that had Pac-Man on them, seemingly implying that the game takes place in the same universe as Pac-Man. And actually, there were also references to Dig Dug in that game too, and Rally X even. And Namco also loves to hide the special flag from Rally X in a lot of their games, and the flagship from Galaxian. So I don't know, maybe all of these games, all of Namco's games just exist within the same universe, like all their arcade games. Whether it be Metrocross, Baraduke, Sky Kid, Rally X, Mappy, Xevious, do they all just take place in the same, like, cinematic universe? I don't even know. It's so bizarre, man, and I mean, I do understand that, like, a lot of Namco's arcade titles are considered to be iconic, and they are considered to be, like, genuine classics of their time, but it's like, they do it so freaking often, and I kind of feel like it's almost, it's like, you know, self-congratulating in a way. I mean, I do understand that Namco, you know, wants to celebrate its history, or clearly they do love celebrating their own history, and I do think that is a good thing, because I can think of a lot of companies that really just don't give a damn about preserving or even celebrating their own history, like, Nintendo comes to mind, actually, or Konami for that matter, because I feel like Konami is just straight up disrespecting their classic franchises at this point. I mean, Castlevania NFT is? Like, really, Konami? You're really just gonna give your classic franchises the middle finger like that? Like, why? What is wrong with you? But yeah, I don't know, I always found it kind of weird how Namco just seems to love referencing their own games all the time. I don't know, there's just something that kind of feels a little, just a little bit self-indulgent about that. I think that was the term I was looking for, not self-congratulatory. I don't know if that even is a term that people use on a daily basis, but yeah, I don't know. It feels a little self-indulgent in a way, but I can understand if they're just, like, you know, celebrating their own history. I do think that is ultimately a good thing at the end of the day. It's a hell of a lot better than how companies like Nintendo and Konami treat their classic IPs, that's for damn sure. Anyway, I think that's where I'm gonna end that tangent, and also this video, cause I don't really have anything more to say about Baraduke, guys. It is an interesting little run-and-gun game for what it is, and like I said, I do kind of feel like in some ways it feels like a spiritual ancestor or like a spiritual predecessor to Metroid, mostly just because of its themes and its enemy designs, and also the fact that Kissy is actually a woman who you are led to believe is actually a man. Again, it does make me wonder if Nintendo might have taken inspiration from Baraduke when they were making Metroid, but I will admit that this game is definitely rough around the edges. It does feel a little bit buggy to me. It seems like there's certain corners in some levels that you can just get completely stuck on. Not only that, but the respawning enemies are just the absolute bane of my existence. It's like as soon as they land on the ground, they respawn somewhere else, and sometimes they can respawn directly in your face. In what universe is that even remotely fair? And also those damn flying enemies too that just randomly appear on the side of the screen. Also, the bosses are just incredibly repetitive as well, because there's only like there's 8 worlds, but only 3 different kinds of bosses that you fight, and one of the bosses you only fight at the very end of the game. But for the majority of the game, you're just fighting the same 2 bosses. It's just like, why? You couldn't have thought of, like, more enemy types or more boss designs? But yeah, I mean, that's Baraduke other than that, so it's still an interesting little, like, run and gun. It is kind of like a shoot 'em up as well, because there's just bullets that are flying all over the place. But again, this is not one of Namco's better IPs. I mean, Baraduke was popular enough to receive a sequel. Like, there was actually a Baraduke 2 that came out in 1988, but the sequel only came out in Japan, and I don't believe Baraduke 2 was ever brought to any of Namco's compilations, I don't think. But yeah, Baraduke did actually get a sequel a few years later. I don't know if the sequel is any better than the original, though. And I'm not going to be doing a video on the sequel either, because I'm just not interested at all. So, I've got nothing more to say about this game, guys. I'm not going to provide any links in the description to where you can download this. You can just try to find a ROM of this yourself. I'm not sure if Baraduke was ever re-released on any other platforms. I don't believe it was. games. But I mean, if Hamster Corporation ever re-releases Baraduke on PlayStation 4 or Switch as part of their Arcade Archive series, then I'll come back and update the description, if and when that ever happens, because I mean, it might. Hamster have recently begun re-releasing some of Namco's back catalog on PS4 and Switch. They already re-released games like Pac-Man, Mappy, and even Sky Kid. So a re-release of Baraduke on PS4 or Switch is not outside the realm of possibility, I would say, but we'll have to wait and see what Hamster decides to do about that. But yeah, I'm done for now, guys. That's it for this video. If you want to play a good side-scrolling platformer that features grotesque alien worlds and a protagonist who you're led to believe is male but is actually female, then just go play Metroid instead. Because Metroid is definitely a much better game than this. I kind of feel like maybe this game set the blueprint for what Metroid would become, and Metroid ended up becoming something a lot better than this. So, because this game in particular, while it is definitely notable for doing pretty much everything that Metroid did before Metroid actually existed, it's still kind of mid, in my opinion. Yeah, it is a little mid. It's a little bit jank, as the kids would say. So you're probably just better off playing Metroid, so go do that. I'm done for now. Thanks as always for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video I make. Later.